AnimeIndecision.
Greetings, I'm Demonac.
And I'm Orestria, and this is AI Tries Episode 8, Brace for Impact. The impact of not much happening.
Pretty much. We get to see another episode that doesn't have great action. Everyone seems incompetent for the most part.
Yeah, and video, boom. No. We have our meeting of the Ajin, and
The bland and generic Ajin. Yeah.
All of whom are men, because feminism.
Maybe it is feminism, Women are just... These are all people who are dumb enough to get themselves killed at least once. Maybe the women are just, like, a little bit more on the ball. Although that does help to explain why they suck at so many things.
They could seriously use a feminine touch in their planning and stuff. Anyway, so I don't know exactly what I was expecting from the meeting of the Ajin, but I'm not sure, like, so nice to meet you, we're planning mass murder, who's in? But that's what happened.
Who's up for mass murder? Oh, I'd like some mass murder. Me too. I don't know.
And like you were pointing out earlier, they were nicely lined up. All the people who weren't into mass murder were conveniently on one side of the room, and all the people who were like, yeah, okay, were on the other side of the room.
They were so well lined up, I feel like there must have been a quiz beforehand, and when he was asking them afterwards, it was just a formality.
There was like a sorting hat event.
It's like, do you support Donald Trump? Yes or no? And then he's just like, okay, that's how he figures out where they go.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
So
and then
I'm okay with Tanaka's, like, bad shooting skills in general. I mean, it's fine that he doesn't have to be good with a gun. Give me a gun, I'm sure I can't do anything with it.
Very few people in Japan probably have actual practical shooting experience, since it's not easy to get a gun in Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be, like, super ultra registered and shit. So.
Yeah, so I was okay with that part, but somehow it still all came off just ludicrously incompetent.
Ko, the new teenage Ajin, during this scene is the only time he does anything competent in the entire episode, which somehow makes everything seem worse.
Yeah, I don't know. You just kind of saw him and you're like, oh, please don't go there. Can we just keep Captain America?
Of course you can't. Of course it has to be the teenage boy who looks like not a winner.
If the competent guy, who is incredibly strong for some reason, came along with them, then he should become the protagonist, which would defeat the purpose of their other protagonist. So I'm okay with, like, not adding a better guy who would come in and replace our protagonist. Our protagonist is going to shine at some point, we hope. But do we have to stack on more, like, kids that we don't especially care about?
At least Ko is funny in an incompetent kind of way.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be fair to him, he did get over, or at least, get past his fear of heights pretty quickly after dying the first time.
I don't know. He might have enough fear of heights after unsuccessfully killing himself the second time.
That's true.
Falling and not dying.
That might have undone all the hard work he did by falling out of a window and dying the first time.
Right.
So I like Tozaki demonstrated competence, which is good, because the way he's been built up, we haven't seen enough of him actually doing stuff, and he spotted things in that video that were intelligent and made a difference, so that was cool.
It didn't feel like bullshit CSI zoom in and see a reflection in the window kind of shit. It just seemed like Sherlock Holmes noticing things about people shit.
Yeah, it was the right side of the spectrum. Unfortunately, then he goes and hires the Three Stooges.
They didn't do much, so it's hard to judge them too much. I feel like the only thing they did that was super stupid was, like, leaving his door unlocked after they got into his house.
That was pretty dumb, but just in general, it felt like there were three of you. All you had to do was catch a kid. Like, really, you couldn't... Ko is not a ninja, okay? Maybe he's slippery, because he looks like a friggin' banana, but...
They did have one guy on the stairwell that stopped him from getting away that way. I feel like part of their problem was just not thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're dealing with an Ajin, you have to think not just how a normal person would get away, but how an Ajin would get away, because again, they don't give a shit if they die.
Yeah, that is one of the strengths, or at least potential strengths of the show, is that there are a lot of that opens up so many different ways of dealing with the situation. But unfortunately, Tozaki, I feel like he kind of screwed up a little bit after demonstrating confidence there, because when the ambulance shows up, they're just like, "Oh, I guess we lost." So they let the they let the ambulance take him. They don't say, "I'm with this ministry. I'm gonna ride along with him." They don't follow the ambulance. Nothing wrong with following an ambulance. Like, leave the Three Stooges behind because they're suspicious, but you and Officer Not Dead are perfectly respectable, and you actually have legitimate reason to follow him. So,
You're wearing suits and everything.
yeah, were you wearing suits? You can get away with a lot.
The number one goal is just look like you belong there, and usually people won't question why you're there. Um, this show is seriously making me wonder about people in Japan. Like, I gotta do an experiment one day where I cover my shirt in blood and just walk down the street and get on a train and see how far I get. Because I feel like Kenny and Ko both get a lot further with that shit than I ever will.
There certainly didn't seem to be any attention on the train there. They did both run into. They're trying to construct some kind of weird trope where they both run into a woman who is really annoying to them and us when they meet them, and then who does something which is, whether you agree or not, supposed to sort of redeem them, right? The woman
Right.
who sees the blood and is like annoying him and stuff like that, but she called an ambulance and it worked out. Plus, if he wasn't an agent, the ambulance probably wasn't a bad idea. And then the stupid old woman who just careens into Kenny from out of nowhere, then blames him. He's like, "Oh, I guess I gotta help her up because she won't stop overacting about her sore back." And but then afterwards, because he did do something nice for her, and then when she sees on the TV that, oh, they're chasing for him, she's like, "I won't report you. You seem like a nice enough kid."
Yeah, I don't know what their goal was with that stuff.
I don't know,
Aside
but
from
if I never see another young protagonist runs over or knocks over an old woman in the woods and then goes back to her cabin scene in another anime, I won't complain.
I will be happy if I don't see any more stealth ambulances, because that was special. That ambulance was not using its lights or sirens until it was about to turn the last corner to get to the building it was going to.
They turned the corner and then they saw there was a situation and they were like, "Oh shit, we're supposed to look like we're doing something."
But I mean, in real life, you would just hear an ambulance in the background and you wouldn't think anything of it. But
Yeah,
I guess, like in TV, if
in the
unless you're constantly having random sirens in the background, you can't get away with
in the
that shit.
context of the show, it would be harder. They would have had to try and subtly, like subconsciously prime you by having a couple. I mean, this is the eighth episode. So if they were really, really planning ahead, they could have had three separate times in other videos when there were like sirens, which might have actually helped the ambiance in some way, but which weren't like attached to anything that was going on. And then it would get you thinking, okay, they're just like, you're out in the street, sometimes you hear sirens subconsciously. Maybe that would work, but that would have required a pretty superhuman degree of foresight. And nobody in this show has superhuman foresight.
But we're hoping they have like regular amounts of foresight sometime.
I did like that Kenny was spending some time actually trying to train himself in the use of his abilities. That's giving us a sign that he won't just become more powerful out of nowhere. Like they're building up that he's decided to go about it strategically, and when he pulls out some kind of competent moves later, it's not going to be completely bullshit.
I like that too. I just didn't. That's actually one more thing I found weird about the friggin' Ajin meeting scene. We know that at least Captain America, if not also Ko, can summon their black ghosts because they came to the Black Ghost rally, and then they never use their black ghost when they're trying to escape.
There's a lot of these Ajin are not using them almost all the time. Like it seems to be pretty rare that they actually whip them out.
But like Kenny would have had trouble making his ghost appear long enough to show up at that rally, so they at least have that much competency. Well, maybe not Ko, maybe he was there in person because he couldn't do it, but
Yeah. So anyway, the show still has a lot of potential, but I feel like the last couple episodes are kind of I don't know. They're just not really pulling their weight.
I'm hoping that they're like in kind of mid-season filler mode. Like they're trying to stretch it out and make sure the final action is in the last few episodes of the season,
It could be,
and it's just resulted in a bit of a pit.
yeah. Because I mean, the meeting of Ajin was so generic. I mean, I should have gone back and counted. Now I'm pissed off I didn't go back and count the black ghosts because I could have sworn there were more than like. Well, I guess there were like what 8 people in total. Maybe that's
Yeah,
close. That's closer. I keep thinking there were 6, but there were a couple more than that.
yeah, you're forgetting about the two who didn't want to commit genocide, but
Yeah,
who got taken out super fast.
yeah. Forgetting about Professor Glasses and Professor Not
Yeah,
Glasses.
but yeah, there were seven or eight of them. So I
Yeah,
don't
we'll,
know.
we'll we'll just hope that you're right, and these are maybe their budget cutting episodes. Maybe we'll get something much more interesting happening when their terrorist action starts next time.
Bye bye. I'm always excited for mass murder.
If you enjoyed this, please click the like button, or on your touchscreen, please lick the like button. Warning, licking the touchscreen is not recommended. Maybe he's slippery because he looks like a friggin' banana, but
I love that I had to tell you he was yellow, and now you're making fruit jokes about him.
yeah, well, I had to get you to
I
tell me which color he was so I could make fun of it.